everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Great. Yes, hi and welcome. Usually it's usually in these meetings it's me and our founder Bert van Zoon. He unfortunately can't make it today, so I hope that I can answer all of your questions. So a little introduction about me. I'm Lea. I'm the Sustainability Manager at Mudgenes, so responsible for all things sustainability, impact management, and so on. Typically how this goes is we just do one by one. You can ask your questions. We can always start with just a quick introduction round of, if you ask your question, just state your name and maybe why you're here, what you're doing. And then we can just go around the group. Typically, this session goes around 45 minutes. Hopefully, we can answer all or most questions in that time. I'll try to keep it efficient. I think we can maybe already start, and then if more people are joining, they can ask some questions later. Maybe Tindra, we can start with you.
Yeah, hi. So I'm doing a critical analysis on circular supply chains for my master in Rotterdam. Should I ask the question right away?
Sure, go for it.
All right. So since I'm doing a critical analysis, my question is what the major challenges are of circular business models. I've researched a little bit, and usually it's like operational wise, it's the uncertainty of returns regarding quantity and the quality of it, and having the technology that's pretty expensive, and it needs to be a lot of innovation related to that, and how to guarantee the price to the consumer. Would you say that you experience similar challenges in your business?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, for us, it's definitely a challenge. I think when we first set it up, it was a logistical challenge. So getting back all of the old jeans, because we work with our fulfillment partner there. So the partner that sends out the jeans and gets the returns, the normal product returns as well. One thing was really differentiating between what is returns, what is jeans that go for recycling, and so on. And we also had to train that staff to then differentiate again in the jeans that are for recycling, which of those are maybe still good enough to become part of our vintage collection, which ones should go to recycling. So I think that was the logistical challenge, especially when we first started with it. And now I think it still remains a financial challenge. It just costs a lot of money to, first of all, the shipping. So we give free return labels, but free shipping labels for people that want to send their old jeans back to us. And that's already quite expensive. Then we need to pay our partner that has the stock of those jeans. So we pay for the stock keeping. And then we also pay again for the shipment to the recycler. And of course the recycling. So all of this just really adds up. And we still want to keep our products at a price that is somewhat affordable. Of course, it's still already at a higher range, but it just means that our margins are a lot smaller than maybe for some fast fashion brands. So I would agree with those points. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Maybe we start. Continue with Elisa.
So hi, my name is Elisa Schneckenreiter, and I'm studying in Austria. I'm studying supply chain management. And I want to gain insights from fashion-related companies. So you're an expert on circular economy, and that is my topic on the master's studies I'm making. So my main question is, what characterizes your successful cycle-oriented business model? And what makes this business model innovative at the same time? And as well, I've already gone through your your report, and so about the success factors. What are the success factors of your circular and innovative business model in your company? So maybe we can go from the first question and then to last. I can ask again if you
Yeah. So typically how we go about it is we ask one question per person, we go around. So maybe we can start with the first question. So did I understand correctly what makes our business model successful? Is that what you're trying to ask? Or
Yeah.
okay.
So-
Do you mean successful in a business sense, so financially, or as a business that we work this way, or in what sense do you mean success?
For at all at the business side, of course, but also in the way you work in a successful in cycle-oriented business model. You know?
Okay, so how we make it successfully that it's a circular business model, you mean? Or
Exactly. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, a big part of that is what I think just explained to Tindra also. So really making sure you have the right partners that are trained in the right way to make this possible, I think. So having this logistical setup of being able to send these free return labels to customers, receiving those jeans back. So that's really about let's call it extended producer responsibility. So making sure you have a way of getting the jeans back to you. I think that's an issue that a lot of bigger brands that are only now starting to think about circular approaches have. But of course, you need to start at the design phase, I think, already. I think what makes us successful in a circular sense is that we have circular design. So we have a small number of fabrics where we really try to limit ourselves as much as possible to monomaterials, meaning as much of just one type of material as possible so that it's more recyclable. We also really limit the amount of synthetic content that we have in the jeans. So some of our jeans are stretch jeans, meaning they still have some synthetic content. But we limit ourselves to a max of 2% usually, which is, if you compare it to other denim brands, quite low, but that is also to not contaminate the recycling process again, because if you go above that, the recycling process becomes a little bit more difficult. We also use, for example, buttons that are made from 100% stainless steel, so that can again be more recyclable. So the design phase is a big part of that. So the fact that we have a design team that takes these things into account makes us successful. And then I think in general, having that structure of how we take the jeans back and the right partners that then recycle those jeans and turn them back into our new fabrics, I think that's what makes it successful. Yeah. Okay. Roel?
Yes, hi. So I'm Roel. I live in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and I'm currently based doing my master's, sustainable business. And for my thesis, I'm doing a research whether the blockchain can enhance the transparency in the textile industry. And that's also the question I wanted to ask you guys, because as far as I'm concerned, you do value transparency and traceability, but I couldn't find anything about using the blockchain in order to prove this transparency. And there are already some companies who have something like a QR code or a chip within their clothing, so the customers can check and really trust the company, all the steps that has been taken beforehand, before it ends up in the clothing stores. Have you considered using the blockchain technology as well, and why or why not? Have you done so to decide that?
Yeah, we do actually have QR codes on our products that also work with blockchain. So we work with a partner called Text Tracer, and they use the blockchain to verify exactly what you just said. So yeah, it seems to me you know a lot about how that generally works, but the reason why we did it, yeah, exactly what you said. We want to be transparent about the production journey of our product. So through the QR code, it's on our hang tags, but also on the little label inside of the jeans. And through that, you get information about the environmental impact, but also the different production steps and the different partners that we work with. And then also some tips about what to do with your jeans if they're broken or you don't wear them anymore and so on. And in terms of why we do it, yeah, enhanced transparency, but also I think upcoming legislation will require digital product passports, so it also helps us to comply with those regulations. Honestly speaking, I think because we have such a short supply chain with a small number of partners, I think a lot of brands also use these platforms to create an overview of their supply chain and have an easier point of contact with all of their partners. And that makes sense if you have a lot of partners or a big supply chain or you don't have that overview yet. But I think that's a point for us, at least so far, hasn't been a reason why we did it, just because we have direct contact to a small number of suppliers. So we don't need it for that overview. In that sense, it's maybe even more work to onboard every one of them and make sure they use yet another system for one of their partners. So yeah, I mean, does that answer your question?
It certainly does. Thank you so much.
Sure. Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm currently writing my bachelor thesis on the business models that circular economy has to offer. And I'm interested in the repair service you offered. I've seen that you offer it for free during the leasing time. Do you also get requests for a repair service after the leasing time, and how do you handle these?
Yeah, so we have it for lease partners already. For the other partners, what we recently launched is kind of a repair and alterations pilot. So because it's a pilot, we haven't offered it to everyone yet. It's only to Amsterdam and Utrecht customers so far. So we work with local tailors and they can bring their jeans to the tailor and then either collect them back or get them sent back via a bike delivery service. Yeah, so Amsterdam and Utrecht so far, because we wanted to test this service and also see what does it mean financially for us, what does it mean logistically for us, how many people make use of this and so on. So there's a lot of factors that we just needed to explore, and we don't just offer repairs through it, but also alterations, meaning if somebody buys a mud jeans online or in one of our stores, well, partner stores, within the first 14 days after, they can get them altered for free if we don't have the size that would fit them. So let's say you have a shorter leg than our shortest sizes or a smaller waist, we can adjust those things. And that's, yeah, to make our jeans more inclusive. But it can also actually have a positive impact on the return rate. So again, that's of course a financial reason as well, but also lower return rates mean lower environmental impact because you're doing less shipping back and forth. But yeah, so we do both of those things for the pilot, and we're investigating how to do that for all customers. At the moment, what we also do is we have some tailors that we offer if customers want to send their jeans in if they're not a leaser. But then I think it depends on the situation, but I think they then have to pay for that service. At least at the moment, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Shayla.
Hi, my name is Shayla. I'm a student at Rotterdam University taking my master's in international supply chain. And I'm doing a research on investigating on why do companies do when it comes to circular supply chains. So my first question is, I would like to know your physical process. So where does it start when it comes to returning in the products, and where does it end, and who is involved in between? Okay.
And you only mean the returning of the product? So starting from when a customer wants to send us an old jeans back?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so let me think. Typically we encourage customers. It actually starts when a customer buys a new jeans. So on our website, when they buy a new jeans and they're at the checkout, they can check an option which says returning an old jeans. And if they do that, they get a 10 euro discount. I think it's 10 euros on their new jeans. So that's one of the main ways to go about it. When they then get sent their new jeans, there's a return label in that shipping box. And you can use that return label both if you want to return your new jeans or exchange your new jeans for a different size, but also in the same box, you can send your old jeans to our fulfillment partner as well. And that just, makes it a lot easier, makes it a lot more sustainable also because you can do it just in one go. Those jeans then get sent to our fulfillment partner, which is called Active Ants. And they process the returns. The jeans are looked at. So if they are, through a quick assessment, if they are still good enough to be worn according to their assessment, they get put into one pile. If they are ready for recycling, meaning they can't be worn again, they get put into another pile. So when it comes to the jeans that are still good enough to be worn, they get sent to our office. We do another check on those. We wash them, do potential repairs and so on, and they become part of our secondhand collection. But for the jeans that are on the recycling pile at the fulfillment partner, they get put into their stock. We collect the jeans there until we have a few pallets collected. And then we send them to one of our recyclers. So they just get sent, and then the recycler starts the recycling process. I think that's the most important parts, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Julia.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Julia, I'm from Amsterdam and I'm following a master's in Global Sustainable Business Management. And for my thesis, I am conducting research on the advancement of traceability implementation in an apparel multi-tier network supply chain. So I'm mainly focusing on what the barriers are during the implementation to find solutions for this. But I'm also investigating more on the frameworks that brands use, like how they tackle traceability or how they view it from their perspective, since there's not like really a common, defined definition of the concept. So of course, for your supply chain, so it's a bit easier because it's a bit smaller and you know all your suppliers, as I understood already. So I just wanted to know more like how you view, what's your view on traceability? Is it like also sustainable related information, or is it more like your supplier list?
Yeah. I would say it's definitely more than the supplier list. I would say it actually entails pretty much everything we have in our sustainability report. So that ranges from the types of suppliers that we work with, but also, environmental impact is a big point for us. So we do annual LCAs on our products, so impact measurements, and also publish a separate LCA report on that. And then on our product pages on our website, for example, and through the QR code that I explained, we share the information about that environmental impact. It's a little bit like the philosophy that Oatly also has. I don't know if you know, but how they always share how much CO2 is used for one kind of package of milk. We just want to make that kind of the standard, that people have an understanding of what goes into the production of a jeans and how they can maybe compare that also to other products or other purchase decisions. Environmental impact is a big point for us. We share information about our team. We share information about new product innovations that we're working on, also difficulties that we have with that. We share information about our code of conduct, about our chemical policy. I would say as detailed as it can get, we really try to share everything. I think a big part of it is also that we have direct contact in Q&As like this, and show that there's really no question that we don't want to answer, because we just feel that if there's nothing to hide, then all questions should be able to be asked. Yeah.
Do you think you could say you have like full traceability over your whole supply chain, or is that something that's not there yet? Or
no, it's there. I mean, yes, yeah. I mean, maybe I wouldn't know exactly when it comes to the hang tags of this exact hang tag, where was this wood originally from? But when it comes to all of our suppliers and where they are located and so on, yes, we have full traceability.
Have you witnessed there any obstacles, like, or was it quite easy for you as a company to?
Well, when it comes to mapping our supply chain, I would say we are definitely lucky in the sense that we consciously chose partners that are open and transparent in that regard as well, regarding their suppliers. So I wouldn't say it was a big challenge. But of course, you need to still stay on track with changes that might happen, or maybe sometimes you need to ask 2-3 times to get that information. But in general, I would say it wasn't the hardest thing, just because we have those partners that are very open in those regards. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Sure. Tamara.
Hi. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Tamara Bijsveld. I'm studying fashion and textile technologies in Enschede in the Netherlands. And I'm doing a research on how designers can have influence on the sustainability of a product. For example, in a fast fashion company. So I'm curious how your designers make influence on the durability from a garment.
On the durability. Yeah, that's quite a technical question. So yeah, let me think. I mean, there are definitely certain design decisions that impact durability. So of course, for one, just looking at which quality of fabric do you want to use, I wouldn't say that's just the designer's choice, of course. But when it comes to aspects such as stitching, I don't know if you know, but the stitching on the side, there's the number of stitches that you use per centimeter also impact the durability of the product. So if you have stitches on your jeans that are quite widespread, like longer stitches, then that means your product's weaker and gonna kind of break on those seams quicker. So if you have more stitches per centimeter, that's also something you can always check on the jeans that you want to buy. That really impacts the durability of the product. Apart from that, I would say high quality decision choices, and then of course you do product tests. So if you notice that certain things fall short, you have to make adjustments.
Okay, and do you also have options to, for example, for the jeans to grow a little with you?
Well, I would say for the jeans that have some stretch in them, yes, they can grow with you to a certain extent, but I wouldn't say it's consciously designed to really grow a size if you become a different size.
Okay.
Because then you also have the issue that with those properties of growing with you, if then maybe they will stretch out and they won't recover back to the size if you're just wearing them for a day, so it's also a trade-off. You don't want to have it too stretchy, because then it's also not durable, because the person maybe can't wear them anymore.
Yes, I understand. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sure. I see Vesi Petrova.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Vesela Petrova. I'm from AZ University in the Netherlands, and I'm doing a value proposition case study and I chose to do on Mud Jeans, your company. And I have a question. How does Mud Jeans ensure that any new value propositions aligns with the company's sustainable goals and the stakeholders' expectations?
And when you say value propositions, what do you mean by that?
Like, how does your values align with the stakeholders' like needs?
Okay. How do our values align with our stakeholder needs? Okay. Yeah, I think well, Mud Jeans kind of came about through, I think, certain, it depends how you define stakeholders. I would say one stakeholder for us is definitely environment and the people that are impacted by environmental changes. So that's a big stakeholder for us, and that's one of the reasons why Mud Jeans was created. I'm having a bit of an echo. I don't know if that's just me.
Excuse me?
I'm finding it. Yeah, there's an echo, but it's okay. So I mean, there's certain key values that we have in our circular economy and general Mud Jeans strategy. So these are things such as fair factories, circular economy, positive activism, and so on. And we base all of our decisions and the whole business model of Mud Jeans on those factors. I think if you are a brand that wasn't built on sustainability as its core value, it can be a bit more complicated to make sure that your value propositions align with stakeholder needs, maybe. But yeah, I would say because we were built on those things, it's what we constantly are guided by. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yep, thank you.
Sure. Okay, then I think we're back at Tindra.
Yeah, so my next question is, your jeans are now currently 40% circular. My question is, how does this number come up? Is it a technical challenge, and what are the current goals to achieve 100%? What are the challenges there?
Yeah, yes. So at the moment we reach 40% post-consumer recycled content in our jeans. The reason why we don't go beyond 40%, well, for one, I should say 40% right now is also the highest percentage out there. Well, I mean post-consumer recycled. When it comes to pre-consumer recycled cotton, it's a different story. But for post-consumer, the issue is if you use mechanically recycled fibers, the mechanical recycling process, meaning the shredding and so on, makes the cotton fiber shorter. And shorter cotton fibers, if you add too much of them into a product, it can make the product less durable. And we did tests on that and found that if we go beyond 40%, we cannot guarantee the durability of the product. So that's why at the moment we have a max of 40%. However, we do have the Road to 100 project where we try to reach 100% post-consumer recycled cotton. And through that, we created a first sample where we have a mix of mechanically recycled and chemically recycled fibers. And for chemically recycled fibers, you have the advantage that you break down the fabric into a kind of cotton pulp. And from this pulp, you can create fibers again. And these fibers can be basically as long as you want or need them to be. And if you mix those with the mechanically recycled fibers, you can have a durable product. The reason why we mix the two is because chemically recycled fibers their properties are a lot softer. So if you had a 100% chemically recycled jeans, it wouldn't feel like denim to you. It would be way softer. So we mix the two to have kind of the best of both worlds in that sense. And yeah, we had a proof of concept. We created the first sample of that, but in creating that in bulk and through a collection is a lot more challenging. So yeah, we are working on that and taking some first steps in that direction. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Elisa.
So now my second question is, what makes your business model innovative at the same time as circular?
I would say the circularity element is the innovative element, because it is something, the way that we are doing that we don't really see other brands do at all. We've been doing this for many years now, that we take back our customers' jeans and create new jeans out of them. So some brands might take back the jeans but not create new jeans out of those, or they might have some recycled content but it's not from their own jeans, or it's not post-consumer recycled content. So really having this closed loop and making sure our old products go back into our new products, I think that's what makes it innovative. Yeah.
And I've read you have a lot of events and meetings, and what is the innovative part? What you think makes your company as innovative as you are, like with events or other?
Oh, you mean, okay. Well, I would say a creative team, a team that I think all of our team members were attracted by what Mud Jeans offers in terms of this innovative circular business model, and it attracts the right type of people. I think also being a B Corp attracts the right type of talent that has the right mindset for what we want to achieve. And it just comes with a lot of creativity. Also, if you have limited margins and budgets, you have to be creative with what you do, with what you have. And I think if you have a team that believes in the mission, they will always try to find ways to shout about that mission and raise awareness and come up with clever ideas of statement campaigns and so on. So I think the team is what makes it innovative, and the mindset that the team has. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah, you just shortly mentioned that you made use of a digital product passport. At what sense is there an overview of the complete route the jeans has driven? Let's say I was the first one who bought the jeans, I returned it, and then to person B is the second. Is this all can be seen back on the chain? And what is the insights that this whole chain gives you as a company?
When you mean you are the first person who has the jeans and then somebody else has them, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so is my information be stored on the chain? And how can I know that this personal information, or otherwise my privacy, is being treated with respect?
No, we don't have that information in there at all. So the type of information that we have is only the production journey of the product. So starting from the raw materials, then it goes to the recycling, the spinning of a new yarn, the weaving of a new fabric, turning that fabric into a jeans, having the final finishing steps, and then sending those to our fulfillment partner in the Netherlands. So these are the steps that we have on there. When it comes to who the jeans then belong to, that's not information that we have on there. It's not collecting information from the customers. It's only us providing information about those steps.
Okay, cool. But how do you guys track whether the condition of the jeans is still intact, or how many owners it had before, or at what time? Oh, sorry, I know that one. But can you answer these first two?
Yes. So the thing is that one jeans doesn't have multiple owners, because when somebody sends the jean, well, the secondhand jeans, that's true, they do have a second owner, but we don't track who that owner is really. And when it comes to the jeans that get recycled, it's not like it's a one-to-one, this jeans gets recycled and then gets put into this new jeans, and that's how you can track that change. It's more, you have a pile of old jeans, you recycle those, then you have the recycled fiber, and you use that recycled fiber to make up to 40% of that new jeans as fabric. So you can't really track in that sense where the jeans always went to. And then when it comes to the quality of the jeans, well, when we get them back for recycling, you mean, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is done at our fulfillment partner. So they check for either secondhand or for recycling, and they usually check. You can check. Well, first of all, are there any tears? Does the zipper work? All the buttons attached? And then you can. There's certain areas of a jeans at the pocket seams and so on, or yeah, certain seams where you can pull and to see if it's still intact there, like certain vulnerable areas. And if those are okay, they get sent to us and we do another check. And yeah.
So they don't make use of the digital product passport. Is that attached to the jeans? Or is it just the label as you just mentioned?
No, it's attached to the jeans, so the inside washing label, you know. There the QR code is on there, but the fulfillment partners, they don't make use of that for that, no.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay. Then we have Christina.
Yes, customers can only send one jeans back if they buy a new one, if I got this right. And then at the same time, I got the feeling that you want to improve the number of jeans that are being sent back to you. And for me, that's a little bit contradictory. Can you explain the reasons behind this?
Customers can send back more than one jeans if they want to. It's just that we have a maximum of a 10 euro discount if you send an old jeans back to us. But in general, every mud jeans we always want to take back, but we also take back jeans from other brands. Yeah, again, to encourage kind of that circular economy thinking in people. But we always also say we are a jeans production company. We're not a collection company. If we were to say we take endless amounts of old jeans from other brands back, we just wouldn't survive as a business, because it takes also a lot of cost to get those jeans back, to recycle those jeans, to ship those jeans out to the recycler. So in general, you can send back more than one jeans, and mud jeans we always take back for recycling. It's just that we don't take endless amounts of jeans from other brands. Yeah.
So it's still quite cost intensive for you to recycle the jeans.
The whole logistics process is the biggest cost in that, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Shayla.
Well, you explained to me the physical flow at my first question. Now, I would like to know, like, do you organize the whole process yourself, or do you work with other partners in that process? And what kind of incentives do you give to customers to bring the jeans back?
In terms of partners that we work with, well, we have our fulfillment partner, so the one that receives the jeans that our customers send, and they do the checking and the stock keeping and so on. Then we have our team in the office that does the second check of secondhand jeans. And I, for example, organize the shipments to the recycling partners. And for that, we also have shipping partners. I think the last time we worked with Fair Trade Solutions, so it's kind of a sustainable shipping option for, you know, bigger shipments of pallets. And they do the shipping for us, and then the recycler has the jeans and they do the recycling. In terms of incentives, it's the discount code. So, well, not discount code, but that if you buy a new mud jeans, you send an old one back, you get the 10 euro discount, and that's the incentive.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Tamara.
Yes. How do you ensure that a product can be recycled properly during the design process?
Yeah, I think a few of those things I already mentioned. So when it comes to design, that you try to be as simple with your design as possible. So a little amount of different materials, so monomaterial as possible, limiting the amount of synthetic content in there, and also limiting the amount of like extra accessories. Like we don't add decorative things to the fabric, you know, that if you add extra metal bits than the necessary ones, you always would have to cut those out, things like that. And again, monomaterial when it comes to the accessories also. Yeah, I would say those are the biggest parts, trying to keep the design simple and the materials in there also.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Daisy Petrova. Okay, maybe we move on to Tindra then.
Yeah, so my next question is, since you guys also like you accept unlimited amount of your own genes, but the ones that you get from other brands, how do you limit the amount of unwanted genes? Because you can't guarantee that the materials or the synthetics in them you can reuse. So how do you put a balance of that?
Yeah. So we always brief our customers that they should only send back jeans that are at least 96% cotton. And typically we see that people do respect that because they go to mud jeans because they have some sense of circular thinking or agree with the values, so they wouldn't just send them to get rid of them in that sense. But we do also, at the recycling partner, they do kind of these, I don't know the technical term, but they do these checks also of certain products. I'm not sure if they check every label for every amount, but because a big part of the jeans we recycle are mud jeans, we know that those are okay. And we also know that the majority of other jeans that are sent in are okay. So as long as you have, on average, not above a certain synthetic content, then the recycling process also works. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, maybe we can try to quickly go through one last round with everyone. Elisa.
Yeah, maybe more in detail. So what key activities do you consider to be critical to the company's success? So it's the design you already mentioned. And maybe you can sum it up again.
You mean, again, success, how do you mean that in this sense? So
the key activities. So the main activity.
Yeah. You mean just the main activities of mud jeans, or the main activities that?
The main activities of mud jeans, just.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so we do the design of products. When it comes to the production, we work with partners, so we don't do the production in-house. Yeah, we have sustainability and impact management. We have order fulfillment on the back end. I'm not sure if this is the type of information you're looking for. So you mean yes, what our team does?
Yeah, yes, it is. So in the overview, what is the core activities? What is the main activities you have? You already started, but okay. Maybe that you were saying I already know. Maybe I forgot something. That is why I was asking.
Okay. Yeah, so we have the design of products, we have impact management, we have a sales team, so doing the sales of products. We have also digital design when it comes to marketing. We have marketing activities. We also sell to stores, so we have interaction with B2B store sites. Financial matters are also a key activity. Stock keeping and order and purchase planning and so on is also a big point. Yeah, we run a website. For this, you have to do a lot of back-end organization and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure. Cool. I think you're still on mute.
Yeah, so do you recognize that your customers really value the traceability and the transparency they get through a digital product passport? Or is it more that you guys value and your consumers are like, well, nice that you have it, but they don't really use it, if you're being fully honest?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. It's also something that we want to find out more. We wanted to dig into how often are people actually scanning these QR codes, because it does take a lot of work, and you also want to see is it something that people use. I would say, generally speaking, a part of it is also not. I think a part of it is some people value your general approach to transparency and being a front runner in those topics, and even just offering those things more than they maybe do actually looking into the details of it. I think people want to be able to trust a brand and see that they are doing things in those regards. And maybe for some, it's really more about seeing that and hearing that they are doing it, and less so much about actually looking at it. So I think a lot of people appreciate that we have a sustainability report, but I think the minority of people really read it, which is just the reality of it. I mean, who has time to look into the details of absolutely everything? So I would say it's a general trust that you create with it. Yeah.
And that's also the feedback that you get from your consumers?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we have yet to do a kind of customer survey on that aspect, but in general, like, the feedback that we get is that a lot of people say, hey, we see you do this, this, and this. I mean, I haven't read everything in detail, but it's just great that you are doing all of those things. So that's the general perspective, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, clear. Thanks.
Sure. Yeah.
How do you assess the impact of the rental model on a customer relationship? So do you think the customers feel more related to the company because of the leasing model?
Yeah, I would say so. I think because there's just a longer point of contact through rental also, you have monthly payments, you're in a different newsletter flow, I think, as well. And you're just reminded that you have an interaction with that brand. Usually you purchase an item, and after that you don't care so much anymore about the brand, I would say. I mean, not in every case, but in general. But through this, you just have an ongoing point of contact. And I think people also consciously choose this option if they are open to that. So I think, you can also purchase the jeans. So I think it's also a matter of the people that are interested in maintaining that contact with us, maybe also just go for that leasing model a bit more. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Shayla.
My other question was the various motives that companies have towards going to circular economy, and I would like to know what kind of motives do you have as a company getting to circular economy?
Yeah, I think that's a good one, because for us, I would say it's like the reason why Mud Jeans exists. So Mud Jeans kind of was created out of a lack of circular thinking in the fashion industry. It's that our founders saw that nobody is doing these things, nobody's taking responsibility for their products. And so the motive for Mud Jeans is kind of, it's so ingrained in what Mud Jeans is, that it's I think different motives than it would be for a different company where they are starting to implement circular economy throughout the existence of the company, because then it might be regulatory pressures or customer pressures or investor pressures. It can be kind of motivations from different angles. I think for us, it just came out of a necessity and motivation for creating this type of business. So I would say just sticking to what was or is at the core of Mud Jeans. I think that's the main motive. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Tamara.
Yes. How do you ensure optimal fabric usage?
Yeah, so when it comes to you mean when you turn the fabric into jeans, right? So the cutting.
Yeah, when you're cutting
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So there's a certain type of program that our jeans manufacturing partner uses where it's really about effective pattern placement. So use a program where you place the patterns in a certain way where you waste as little fabric as possible.
Okay.
So that's I would say the main way that they do that. Of course, you still have a small amount of cutting waste. And the way that it works with our partners, they collect that waste and it gets collected by a local facility. They reuse it for different things like stuffing or other elements. Yeah.
Okay, and can you use the fabric in two ways? Also when you use prints?
What do you mean?
That you can cut one trouser like this and the other one like this. So you...
Oh, yeah. I mean, you place it in all kinds of directions
Yeah.
to, yeah.
Only two ways, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Stretch,
I think
maybe?
you can do it.
Because of the stretch, I don't think you can do it like this, only in this. Way.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. To be honest, I mean, this is quite technical. I'm not sure. You're probably right when it comes to stretch, but we also have the non-stretch fabrics. Maybe for those, you can do it in different ways. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Vesi Petrova, are you there? No? Okay. I think, yeah, we could do about until 4 o'clock still. I don't know if there is some urgent questions still. Indra or no, Rule doesn't have one. Good. Anybody still got an urgent question? No, nothing?
I had one. I don't think it's urgent or anything like that, but I just wanted to
go away.
Sorry? Yeah,
Please ask.
I just wanted to know what kind of logistic challenges do you face within the process of recycling?
Yeah, I think it's mainly financial challenges. So just the cost of the sending, not so much as a logistical issue. We have that kind of whole process set up of giving the return labels, receiving it back through the fulfillment center, and then sending it to the recycler. That's not so much a logistical issue, but yeah, I mean, just the costs, I think, are the challenge there.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anything? Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Sorry, I'm having
technical
problems. Can I ask one more question, or it's already past the time?
No, please go ahead. Yeah, we have 5 minutes.
Can you please tell me, because I didn't find any specific information, maybe somebody already asked, about suppliers, like what are your main suppliers?
Yeah, you can find that information also on our website, and in the sustainability report, we have a detailed map of all of our suppliers. But to give you a brief idea, so we have, yeah, let me think. Let me go from top to bottom maybe. So we have one jeans manufacturing partner in Tunisia. It's called U6 International. We have three fabric suppliers. One is in Spain and two are in Turkey. And these fabric suppliers get, well, the ones in Turkey, they also produce the yarn, and they each have their own recycling partner that are also based in Turkey. And then for our fabric producing partner in Spain, they have two different recyclers. Both of them are also based in Spain. And for one of them, so for some fabrics, they produce their own yarns, and for other fabrics, they have another partner that produces the yarn that is also based in Spain. So generally it goes Spain and Turkey, and then Tunisia is where the jeans are manufactured.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Can I ask
Okay.
one more question?
Sure, go ahead.
How's the pilot project with the repair service working? Did you already receive feedback from customers, or how often do they use it?
Yeah, it's used quite a lot actually. I think the main things were kind of figuring out things like, how do we do it with the delivery? Is it really necessary to deliver to people's houses? Making sure that the tailors always have our material in stock. So for example, the pocket lining or the right stitching yarn and so on. But in general, it's worked well. I think mainly it's a matter of how do we fund it moving forward, and how do we implement it on a, for example, EU-wide level. Then it becomes a bit more difficult when you want to do delivery. For example, not every country or city has a bike delivery option, or yeah, things like that. Generally, the feedback has been really positive. So a lot of people, yeah, really appreciated it. The partner that we work with, they're a startup, so they are really focused on making repair a more fun thing again. So where you don't just have to go to a tailor, but making it something that you can fill in online. You just go there, you drop it off, and you get it back, kind of making it a bit more modern in a sense. So yeah, it's been going well. And for alterations, we also saw that a lot of people that would have otherwise returned their mud jeans and never gone for mud jeans because we wouldn't have the fit that they need. Yeah, we noticed that the alterations offer, yeah, made it possible for them to wear mud jeans, which is also great, of course.
So you deliver your buttons and zippers and that stuff to the partners. Okay.
Yeah, to the tailors. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Any last urgent question?
Okay. How can you do you ensure clear communication with the producers? Like very visual style sheets?
Yeah, again, that's, I think, I'm not sure if I can help you with that question because I'm not so much involved in the design process. Yeah, sorry. I don't know the details about that. Of course, there are tech packs and so on, but we don't use 3D design or so yet. Okay. I think it's something we want to look into, but aren't using at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, but maybe later.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Then thank you all so much for being here.